What's up to all the $1 million worth of game listeners out there? If it's $1 million worth of game you're watching, if it's Gillie on Sports you're watching, if it's Adventures you're watching, if it's Where's Wallo we're watching, no matter what you're watching on $1 million worth of game network, what you need to do, you need to like, subscribe, and share. Like, subscribe, and share. Like, subscribe, share. Matter of fact, 4. Like, subscribe, share, comment. Like, subscribe, share, and comment.
Right.
I'm talking about share with all your friends, but you got to subscribe so you get the notification. We have a lot of big things coming.
No, we got the biggest
things coming. I'm telling you stuff you want to be able to get notifications. What you need to do is subscribe. Also, check out the merch. We got merch all going on. Hit the link. Check out the merch. Buy a ticket to the. There's a lot of stuff going on. $1 million
Gillie
game
Fest.
Universe. Gillie Fest is coming.
It's coming. Gillie Fest Part 2.
But
right now,
quick.
December 8th, Gillie and Wallo knockout
Party.
Get your tickets.
Get your tickets.
It's just like that. Right. It's going down December 8th. Gillie and Wallo knockout party. We got DK. We got a bunch of fights. Meatball rumbling. We got Goofies. We got White Dolomite. We got a bunch of people rumbling. We got people South Philly versus North Philly. We got Delaware versus Philly. We got Jersey versus Philly. Man, it's going down.
Yeah, come on, get on.
I'm getting in there. No, I want to see.
Yeah, that shit look like
going
something.
Down December 8th. Hey, come on.
Lock it up.
Get up, you pussy. Get up.
Body shot.
Get up, me pussy. You run. Yeah, it's going down December 8th. Get your tickets. Y'all know how we do. Don't
December
think
8th.
you're gonna call me the week of. You're not getting in.
Pay-per-view is going down. Listen,
You're not going
you
in.
want to get this. Listen, you want to be in the house though, because somebody's getting knocked out. I might even box myself.
It's just like that, right?
Welcome to another episode of Where's Wallo. Listen, this is going to go down as my favorite interview of all times, my favorite artist of all times, the one, the only, Sampha. Let me tell you something, man. I don't even know how to begin this. You know, I'm in Philadelphia right now. We're doing this interview about 20 blocks from here. It's 2017. I just got out of prison. I'm in a record store on South Street. I hear Plastic playing in the record store. So it's playing and I'm like, I go to the guy in the record store. I'm like, yo, what is that? Who is that? I'm standing right in front of Process album and he pointed to Sam and I see this guy with his hair. I'm like, that's him? Sounding like this? I said, so I go right on, I said, is this on my, because I'm still learning it. So I'm like, the phone, like the Apple, I'm like, yeah, he's right here. I must have listened to Plastic. I walk from, if you from Philly, I walk from South Street all the way to Broad and Allegheny. That's like 1,000 blocks. And I'm listening to the song on repeat. I'm like, this song is just, and through the years, everybody that know me on Instagram, they know I always be like, Sampha, I play his music. I'm doing videos to it. I'm dancing to it. I'm writing messages to him. Everybody that know me. And then last year I'm in London, and they like, Wallo, come to London. We want you to meet Sampha for your birthday. Shout out to all my team at YouTube that made that happen. It was just like, it was just unbelievable. I walk in the room. You've seen it on my page. I break down because it was so much of emotion. Now, the first thing I'm gonna ask you is, after spending 20 years in prison, I cried, laughed, celebrated, you know, accomplishments to your music, etc. Did you ever think your music would create such an impact on people's lives?
You know what, not really, like, it's one of those things I never really know whilst I'm making the music and before music comes out. Like a lot of the time, I'll be singing things, I'm like, is anyone really gonna connect to this? This is my issue, like, this is things I'm going through, my issues, and there's times where it's like, boy, I don't know, like, I'm expressing insecurities, and these are real things to me. I'm just a human being going through life, and music is my way of, like, working through things and expressing and creating something new and just connecting to the feeling. So I usually don't have any idea of how it's going to affect other people. So it's kind of other out of body experience, the way that people talk about my music and how it affects them. You know, all I can say is that music is the thing. Music is the star player, and I'm just, if anything, what I've learned is I just feel like a vessel. You know, like you know, I'm expressing. You know, I'm expressing myself. I'm expressing myself through vibrations and. Yeah, it's touching people, but it's very special to hear like how it's, you know, how the music is reaching people, and you know, it helps me to, you know, keep going, you know.
When was the first time that you said, oh, I want to record, I got to do something, I want to be a musician? When was the first time?
Like really, I mean, I think it's like in my teens, you know, like going to school. I had friends who were into music, and really, I have to give it up to my brothers. I've got my brother Sani, who you know, he would let me come around to. He had like this music program called Cubase and Reason, and he lived like five minutes away from my mum's. He was an older brother, and I would go around to his unannounced all the time, just knock on the door, come in, never tell him I'm coming, and he always embraces me, always let me go into his bedroom, learn the thing, like learn the program, and that's kind of where I was like, oh, I really want to be like a music producer. Really, that's what I really wanted to be early on. The whole kind of being a singer thing and didn't really come into my mind until I started like collaborating with other people, and I started like humming and singing on songs, and then people were like, oh, there's something there, and my voice seemed to take over people. That's what people were attracted to.
Okay.
So it was kind of like, I used to sing at home though. I would sing at home, but it was just for me, really.
In the mirror and by yourself in the room?
In the mirror, but I had a piano as well.
Okay.
Like, I had a piano in the living room that my dad bought from some neighbours who were moving out. He bought it for like a couple £100. So it was just in my house, and I always used to play it, you know, and sing. But it was really just for me, it's just like a cathartic thing I would do. So I never really I never thought of myself as like a singer on stage for a long time. I kind of just found myself in that position. Yeah.
Like you said, Sonny,
Yeah.
one of your brothers, you're the youngest of 5.
I'm the youngest of 5, yeah.
And it was
My
like,
boys.
which one of your brothers was the one that gave you that gave you the most knowledge, and what did they tell you?
The most knowledge, you know. It's one of those things where like my eldest brother, you know, passed on the knowledge, you know, especially with music. He would show my other brother John music and Ernest, and so in terms of like advice and stuff, like more so than advice, you know, they gave me confidence. They always like would tell me that I was good at this. I was good at making music, and they were always proud of me. Even before I was out there making music, they always like, you know, sort of never, they always, if I ever had questions, they would never like tell me I'm wrong, or, you know what I mean, like, or if I was, sometimes I'd be scared of like being pretentious, like not knowing something well enough to speak on it, and I'd be like, no, speak on it. That's how you're gonna learn more, by creating a dialogue. You don't have to be an expert to have a conversation. You can just, once again, that's probably my brother Sani. It's like, yeah, you don't have to be an expert to have conversations, but it's important to like, and it's partly the reason why I call process, because sometimes you can be all in your head, and it's important to incubate in your head, but there's times where you just need to speak things out. People, you might be wrong, but then that will create dialogue and you'll move on, you know, like the dialogue is important. Yeah.
So, you've been on, you know, being over across the pond, you've been on a lot of, you was able to make your music and then come over here. And it was like a lot of artists who, everybody from Drake, Kanye, Frank Ocean, Kendrick Lamar, Alicia, everybody, you know, Solange, like you did songs with a lot of different people. Who did you do a song with where you was like, wow, like, oh, I'm over here, I'm doing this with such and such? Who did you do a song with where it was like, oh, yeah?
There was definitely a few. I mean, I've been very fortunate to work with people that I've been big fans of before I ever met them or worked with them. Definitely, like, as you were, you know, talking to me earlier about like giving people their flowers and how important it is to tell artists and, you know, creative people how their output makes them feel. Definitely Kendrick, you know, like Kendrick's music is, you know, helped me through many times in my life, and it's been the soundtrack to many times, like, so there was definitely a moment when I was like, oh wow. And I had to express it to him, like, no, you know, this is a big moment for me. I'm a genuine fan of your music, and it's helped me through a lot of, you know, like hard times, good times, happy times. It's just been a general soundtrack to connect me to, you know, to feeling. Because in life, I think there's a lot of times where you can get overwhelmed or apathetic, disconnected.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was definitely a moment for me. Yeah.
Is there any American artists that you listen to, you know, independent, major, whatever, you know, trying to do their thing or already done it, that you say to yourself, I want to do a song with her or him? Is there anybody on your list?
There's musicians. There's a guy called Jason Moran. He's like I won't pigeonhole him, but like I guess like a jazz musician, pianist, whose music was like also like has been a bit of a soundtrack for me as well. So I'd love to hook up with him at some point. And then there's loads of people. I'd love to do something with Tyler.
Okay, Tyler the Creator.
Yeah.
He's great. Yeah. He's a genius. The Process, right? Classic album. He was making The Process. What's the difference between how you stepped into, not the mindset, how you stepped into the process, and the difference between how you stepped into La High? What was the difference there when you were saying, I'm ready to go in, I'm ready? What was the difference?
There's definitely like a lot of similarities, because usually it's just having a bit of like, I get to a point where I have a bit of space and I've had a bit of distance from making music. So I guess the difference is now, like for La High, I'd made an album. So people knew of me or knew of my music a little bit more.
Yeah.
So there's a bit more of a psychological difference. Like just a normal second album.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh, can I do it again? Can I make it? But yeah, generally speaking, it was quite similar. Like I just I started writing from home. Both of those albums I started writing in bedrooms. And I think this time round for La High, the only real difference is that my process is quite intuitive. I'll just go into a space and kind of maybe play with a synthesizer. I usually start with a sonic, like, and sort of try and create a mood without words. And then I'll bring the words in. I think this time round, when I did that, I was more aware of the things that I'm preoccupied with, or the things that I keep coming back to, more so than process. Do you know what I mean? So for me, I just felt a little bit more aware on this record of my output, and I was a little bit more skilled. I feel like a little bit like I'm a bit more skilled as a producer, and being able to kind of, okay, I'm going in this direction, so okay, I need to do this, and maybe I need help here, or maybe I need this amount of space here, or maybe I need to not show anybody anything, make sure that I keep this to myself so no one can throw me off, you know? Like, because there's times where if you share an idea, someone might have an opinion on it, and you're like, oh, you start getting insecure. So I'm a bit older now, so I'm like, okay, I know, like, I've got to just do this. I need to go this road by myself, and you know, hold that confidence for myself. And I think that was the main difference, really, just the way I kind of handled the process more so than actually doing anything wildly different.
Do you sit back sometime? Because we're human and we have fears, we have insecurities, we hurt, we cry. But was it ever the time when you looked out as you were sitting back and staying at home, living life, where you were seeing music new music come out? Was it ever any fears that you had to compete with what was going on, or you had to sound a certain different way, or you had to, fix yourself to the new way or the new structure to what was going on? Did you ever feel like that?
I think there's times in my mind where it's like, I feel like maybe I'm just, like, people aren't really going to be into what I'm doing. And like, maybe I need to plug into... It's a bit of a balance, because there's times where I feel like I actually did just want to embrace what was going on in terms of musically speaking, because we all think that what we grew up with is the best thing. Yeah. You know what I mean? But that's just because we grew up with it. Yeah. You know, there's times where I'm listening to new music and I don't quite understand it, but I try to make an effort to, like, whether it's like new drum patterns, new flows. There's times where I'll be listening to new flows and I'll be thinking, oh, this is all offbeat and what they, you know what I mean? But then when I actually start to get into it, I'm like, oh, there's something here. I have definitely felt that, like, I think it's a natural thing. There's times where I felt competitive, maybe, in some sense, thinking like, all right, maybe I need to step up my game, or I need to maybe make the sounds a little bit more appealing. But the thing about me is that when if ever I do start going into a direction and I'm not feeling it, I just can't do it. It's just like something in my body will just stop me from making something I don't feel. So I definitely felt at times like I feel like, oh man, I'm getting old. I'm going to be left behind.
Yeah.
You know, and like people are not going to get where I'm trying to go. But you know, I've just kept my faith and just kept, you know, trying to express myself as honestly as I can.
Congratulations, you're a father now. Since the process came up, how is fatherhood?
Fatherhood is a journey. It's a very special journey, and I'm fortunate to be on it. It's just, you know, it's fundamentally changed me as a person. Yeah, it's good.
It's like you like, and then like having how is like having a daughter, because you know me personally, when I got out, my niece, she was little, and them little girls can be real bossy.
Oh yeah.
They could have you on. How was that for you? How was that been?
You know, like it's been a huge learning curve. Like my level, if my patience level was here, it's just had to grow and grow and grow. You know what I mean? Because, I mean, just with kids as well, they're just in a completely different universe.
Yes.
And the way they react to something is completely different to how I'd react. So my logic is completely different.
Yeah.
So it's just that thing of like being able to take a deep breath and be like, oh, how are you feeling? Like in this moment, this is the worst thing in the world for you. Like you really don't want to, you want to take an airplane right now instead of taking the train. Okay. That's a genuine thing you're going through. There's times where it's like, okay, we have to take a train here. I want to get an airplane. I'm like, well, we have to kind of.
Yeah, you got to explain. It'd be like a negotiation. Can we take it another time?
Yeah. So just like great, and it's beautiful as well, you know, because they're so kind of, they're not strapped into like the conventions and the forms and the social conventions.
Yeah, they don't know nothing about that.
Yeah, so it's kind of liberating as well. But yeah, there's a lot of patience growing.
I always say, when I see artists that I really listen to their music, I be saying to myself, wow, I love to get their hard drive. Because I be saying to myself, I know they got some songs on that they never let us hear. We might not never hear, that's just like amazing. What is that song that you never released that you say to yourself probably the best song on your hard drive? You never released. That one song that almost make the cut or you don't, but you be wiggling with like, I want to, I don't know. But it's like fire. It's like, you know it's something good, but you're just not sure of it.
I definitely have a few. I've got a few. Okay, so there's one track, and some of my friends and my brothers were like, "How is this track not on the album?
Yeah.
Like what are you doing?" Yeah, it was called Cumulus, and it's a track. You know, like it might come out like at some point, but that's definitely. Actually, it was like I think it was the first track, one of the first tracks I sort of made for La High. But yeah, that's definitely the one. It's called Cumulus / Memory. So yeah.
Now, when you hear your music, like you hear love, you hear sadness, you hear memories, you hear so much, but the one thing that I hear the most is you talk about your mom. Rest in peace to her. And when you talk about her, it's always like, that's who you always talk about the most. You always hear about her the most. And it's like, how was your relationship? You could tell it was just like, that was your everything.
Yeah, it's really, exactly, as you just said, it was, I think that's the thing, it's like from birth, that's my first love, you know? And my mum was a really caring, gentle, elegant woman. Very sort of nurturing. Just known like that in my family. Just as a nurturer, as kind of softly spoken, but like smart. Yeah, we had a very, very close relationship, you know. And it's one of those things as well. Sometimes you don't appreciate. It's just like, it's just there.
Yeah.
It's just like air. You don't really appreciate the air around you. It's just there, and so it's one of those things. As you grow older, you're like, oh my gosh, you're a person like with fears and doubts and love and happy and all these emotions, you know. But yeah, I think that's one of the things I kind of, looking back, I'm like, oh, there's so many moments, you know, like, it's great when you can get to an age, I imagine, when you can really appreciate, you know, just like me, like right now, I'm dad, you know, that's my job. I'm not like all the other stuff I do, being a musician, that's like second. It's all underneath, being to my daughter, you know, first and foremost, I'm dad, and yeah, I think, yeah, that's the relationship I have with my mum, you know. She's just, yeah.
That was beautiful. I could tell you like was the digging in the crate guy, looking for different vinyls, listening to different music. If you had only one song outside of you, you can only listen to one song for the rest of your life.
Oh, no,
one song, what would that be? One.
That's a difficult one. One song, maybe can I have two?
Two. I'm gonna give you two.
You know what? Okay, I feel like I need one song that can just like calm me down, or like there's like "Someday We'll Be Free" by Donny Hathaway. Yeah, that song in any like big situation, or like if I felt really angry or heartbroken or something or whatever, or that song is a song that just puts it all into perspective. Just the lyrics and his voice, it's just like, so that's a very kind of functional song, like that will change my body chemistry, my disposition. Boy, and then another song what's a song? There's a lot. I'm gonna go with that actually. You only asked for one song.
That one song you said that's better. Did you ever think about the girl that you wanted to work with? Did she ever pop up?
Oh yeah, there's like Kalela. I'd love to do something with Kalela.
Is it Kalani or Kalela?
Kalela.
Kalela, she's an American.
Yeah,
okay.
She's American, and yeah, Kalani. Also. There's some. Yeah, I definitely love to do something with Kalela. I love to get in there with them. Yeah.
Now.
No Name as well.
No Name.
No Name.
You got a list in your mind. You just can't.
I do. I'm just one of those. You know, sometimes I feel like if someone were to come up to me and just have a normal conversation with me, you wouldn't think I was a musician, just because I'm not. My memory's so bad when it comes to like remembering. Like,
You're a great producer. Like, you're really good at that. Who inspired you to produce?
Who inspired me to produce? As in like music that I heard that like inspired me to produce.
Yeah,
or, like,
that inspired you like, damn, I want to be a producer. Like, you know.
Yeah, I mean, there's loads. There's so many. I feel like, not that I ever really knew. I think what got me into sound was like, probably Stevie Wonder, and then growing up a little bit, like there was this duo from the UK called Full Hero, who they started off making kind of jungle music, but then just went on to making sort of jazz and breakbeat and psychedelic orchestral soul, and then there was like, I got into like grime music. I've got like a cousin who's an artist, and he was part of the sort of like genesis of like grime. His name's Fleur D. So yeah, listening to him, that got me into wanting to make grime music, and that's kind of how I started off. Really, the music I started making when I was like producing, and then there was like producers like Da Vinci and P Jam and yeah, these are all kind of like, I guess, like London-based grime producers. And then from there, it was like over here, it was like the Neptunes and Timbaland.
Yes.
And then, yeah, just loads of. Then there was like French producers like Air. There's a band called Air and Daft Punk.
Daft Punk, I know what that is.
Yeah. Yeah. And then studying the things I was into earlier. Then I was getting into Quincy Jones and yeah, all these like huge producers. But yeah, it was mostly like grime, and then like I was definitely like a big Neptunes like geek in my teens.
You wasn't playing, yeah. Yeah, skateboarding, I wasn't playing.
Yeah.
Now, you know, is there anything you want to ask me?
Yeah, you know, did you ever feel nervous expressing yourself on a camera, your thoughts, and sharing it in terms of like, you know, thinking about what people might think, or like you feeling like maybe you don't have like all the answers, but you like what compels you to like share your kind of wisdom or your perspective, and also do you like read the dialogue that you get back? Have you ever put anything out there where it's like someone else has changed your perspective on something that you've said?
First, growing up in Philly, I was me caring about somebody the way people think. That's what got me in trouble, because I had to fit into all these rules and regulations and outlooks of the idea of what cool was. So growing up, cool was like, I wanted to be cool, but cool, you had to be a criminal, you had to sell drugs, you had to do all this crime shit. So I started doing that, and that based off of the pressure. That really wasn't pressure, but I saw it as pressure of people's thoughts, because you could be pimped by people's perception of you, to where as though you're trying to be this person that everybody wants you to be, and you forget to be yourself. And that's what happened to me, and that's what really got me in trouble. So when I got out, you know, the camera and talking to it was really nothing, because I always made people like laugh a lot of time. I was like the guy, the energy, I'll give him energy, or I'll push him. People that knew me before me going into prison, but I was like, I didn't care. Because I said, if you could make people think, laugh, and cry, what I do, you can connect to them. I don't read comments like that, you know what I mean? Something might pop up because I just want to answer some people or whatever. But I feel as though everybody got their own outlook on life. So I might do something, and what I do or what I say, it might not connect with a bunch of people, and you might have people that say something about it. That don't mean that they don't like me or they hate us, because I think we live in a world now where if you say you like an orange and somebody say they like an apple, oh, you don't like, you're going against me, you're hating on me. It's not that deep. I think there's 8 billion people on the planet. Everybody got individual outlooks. So if somebody says something that might not align with what I say, or if somebody correct me, I'm willing to be corrected, because I don't know everything. I think a lot of times we go through this journey through life where we still trying to figure it out. My grandma, 89, I was like, Nanny, did you? She said, no, baby, I ain't figure out life. Nobody gonna figure out life. So I just think me knowing that is that I'm always looking for advice. And I think rather you a kid on the corner that's 19, or rather you an elder that's playing checkers in the park at 59, you could tell me something. Everybody could tell me and I look at the world like, the world is one big library and everybody's a book. You got different type of books. Some books are fictional, some books are real. Some books are autobiographies, some books are how-to. But everybody's a book, and I believe you could get something from everybody. You might can't take everything, but it's something that you can get from them. So if somebody do say it is what it is, but I'm just putting it out there to connect with the people that need it, and also to learn some stuff for myself. So I don't have no fear of putting it out there. And I'm just talking to a camera.
But when did you recognize like you had like a skill also, not just like you were just sharing something, but also you had like an aptitude to be able to like do it in a way that was connecting with people. Do you know what I mean? And
I was in prison, and it was a brother Rob. I was in the law library. He's an elder. Brother Rob, they were starting this program called Real Street Talk. But when the guys would come to jail, they'd talk to them and try to get their mind right for when they coming out. This was a bunch of older guys that had 30, 20 years in jail. You know what I mean? They already had a bunch of time in prison already. And Brother Rob always liked my energy in jail. I was always an upbeat person, even in jail. I was always talking to people, connecting. He was like, I need you to come down there. I went down there and started talking. And I kept talking. But even out here, I always was energetic. I always communicate. I was a communicator. I never was an angry person. So when I started, it went from 18 people to 180 people to 200-300 people I'm talking to at a time in prison every week about getting your life. So coming out here, it was like, that's easy. Because the roughest critics you probably ever get is going to be in prison. And they was receptive to the messaging. So I'm like, it's going to got to be some people out here that I just kept going, you know? And I just realized, and I think a lot of people need to understand, you're just talking to the phone. Wherever you're in your room, wherever you're walking down the street, and just putting sin. Everybody's not going to like you, and that's okay.
Yeah, but it's also, for me, especially because it's like, I have to do things through, like I'm bad at like I want to start journaling, but there's so many things I've heard you say that I'm like, I've never thought about putting this down, but this is like, this is definitely, and I'm going through something, and I watch something, I'm like, this is kind of what I'm going through right now. As a creative especially, I go through a lot of like self-doubt and also like trying to control other voices and sort of follow my own voice, and it's, you know, like I might think something, but I'll think it and it'll just float into the ether. I won't actually document it.
I think with that, I had, when I was in prison, called the Book of Life. It was just a composition book, and I had wrote all over it, because I was thinking like, damn, I never wanted to forget something when I got out to the free world. It was ideas, and I'm talking about, I'm a DM you the book, you're gonna see it. It's written all over the place. And that was the greatest thing I did, because you'll be sitting there eating or something, like, oh damn, I'm thinking about this. And you can write it in your phone, but it's different when you got it all right here in this one place, all in this notebook. Because in your phone, you can lose stuff, because you'll have it in the tab, you have it over here, it get mixed. But when you got a book, whereas though you can just put a date and just write everything down from that date. I mean, you might see something, you're like, damn, I want to watch this movie. I want to look at this doc. I got to read that book. I want to eat this type of meal when I go to London or when I go to Paris. That is the greatest thing and you can just have it there. And it can be beat up, it can be what's the name, it don't matter. You can fold it, put it in your pocket. Long as you can write on that pen and that, and I guarantee you, when you look at it 6 months from now, you're gonna be like, oh shit. Because think about the sounds you hear. Think about the concepts you have. Think about the titles, the melodies, the visuals that you forget about every week. You come up probably with an EP worth of stuff in a week from your thoughts, but you never wrote them down. So you sit back and like, so it's funny because I was having a conversation, you know what I mean, with my manager, I'm telling Daz, I'm like, Daz, listen. I'm like, a lot of times what people don't do, they can't keep the main thing because they don't have no list. Because I always tell people about the list. They're like, what the list for? The reason you need the list for is because it's 3, to me it's like 3 and 10. The 3 things is, who am I? You got to be brutally honest with yourself. Who do I want to be? Where do I want to go? So once you get them 3 things written down, then you write a list of 10. These 10 things right here is on a list so I can become who I want to be and where I want to go. But first, I gotta have this critical analysis of myself. I gotta reevaluate myself and be so raw and uncut and so truthful to myself that it hurt when I look myself in the mirror and I say, who am I right now? Right now. Who am I mentally, emotionally, financially? This is who I am right now. Okay, this is who I am. All right, this is who I want to be now. And this is where I want to go. 3 and 10. Now I'm gonna take these 10 lines and I'm gonna write, how do I get to becoming who I want to be and where I want to go? So then you write it down. So now, if I'm on this mission and I say, you know what? I'm Sampha. From right here to next June, I want to eat this way. I want to think this way, I want to read this way, and I want to travel this way. You can't do none of that unless you write it down. Because if you don't, you're going to be freestyling and you're going to be all over the place and you can't keep the main thing the main thing. See, the way you keep the main thing, if me and you say, we got to go to LA. How we get in LA? We driving to LA. But we got to be to LA in these 6 days, no matter what. We know when we driving there, certain places we can't stop. But if we just say we going to LA, we just saying it. It ain't written down. It ain't on the list. So it's not a main thing. It's like, but when you lock yourself in and you writing this stuff down, now you saying, okay, we got to go to Philly to LA in 6 days. So we know we got to calculate our stops. We got to calculate if we're going to sleep or we're going to keep riding at night. We're going to calculate gas. We got to do all that stuff. So now we got to establish a list. How much gas money we got? We got this much for gas. We got this much for eating. We got this much for lounging because we're going to have to get a spot, take a shower, whatever. But here go the gas. Here go the money to eat. We got to get there. That's it. We getting the tune up before we leave, bang. So now we know but if you ain't got no purpose and no plan, you just out here existing.
Yeah.
So that journal, a change. Today, I'm going to challenge you, man. Before you leave Philadelphia, stop at a Target or Walmart, whatever. You know what Target is?
Yeah.
Oh, y'all ain't got them over there, do you?
No, I don't think so.
Ain't got well, you can stop at a Target, whatever.
But I know what Target is.
Grab you a notebook. Y'all ain't got no notebooks in here?
Downstairs.
Could you go get me a notebook real quick? Thank you. Watch. And a pen. That's all I want is a notebook and a pen. Fresh one. I'm going to give you a notebook, right? Yeah. And I want you to take this notebook, and I guarantee you, from the day, journey, where you write about the show, where you write some ideas, it could be anything in there. It could be things you want to do for your daughter. It could be places you want to eat in the world. It could be places you want to travel. You know what I mean? It could be all that type of stuff. But guess what? Nothing's going to hurt if you do it. It's not going to hurt you mentally, and you're going to gain. It's going to add value to your life. You're going to look and be like, wow, this thing changed my life.
Yeah.
Because
doing it.
I'm telling you, because when you do it, when you create the book of life, it changed everything. Yeah. Look at this. Look at
beautiful.
this. Look at this.
That is perfect.
Is this a pen?
It's pen needs, but
Oh, this is a pen. Oh, look. There you go. Look.
Man, this is beautiful.
Look. See,
Thank
you can have it in your pocket.
Sun orange.
Listen.
This is beautiful. This is a great. Yeah, thank you.
You know what I'm saying? You can have it in your pocket.
Yeah.
You can go anywhere with it. And then you're going to run through that in no time. Then you're going to go to another one. Then you're going to go, whatever it may be. But think about it. You're going to gain so much by writing your information down. And now you got a main thing. Okay, this is the journey. This is the destination. This is what I'm trying to do. I mean, and that's what helped me so much, man, writing. Because I wrote all them years. I'm talking about I see something on TV. Oh, let me write that. Oh, I want to go there. Oh, that's the place that's Voodoo Donuts and Salt Lake. Oh, I gotta go. Oh, what's the name? I used to look at the Discovery Channel. They had like the top 100 food spots to go, top 100 pastry spots, top 100. And I used to just watch it. I'm like, I don't want to eat that, but I want to go there. I want to take a picture there. Right. And I wrote it down. In a lot of places I went to, and just from being inside of the book of life, I'm telling you, Sampha, I didn't even know nothing about nowhere. I never left Philly for real. I came home, I said, I want to go to Salt Lake. I want to go to Buffalo. I want to go to Boston. I want to go to Portland. I want to go to DC. I want to go to Atlanta. I want to go to Miami. I went to all these cities. All these cities that they all in the book of life. So when I look back, I'm like, yo, I wrote this in jail. I done this. I said I wanted to meet this person, Tuma Basa. I had him in a book. I wrote him in. I met him. He wanted to get me a YouTube. So everything is like, you just do it. Yeah. I'm telling you, watch. That's going to change your life.
Thank you.
Watch.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man. But anything else you want to ask me?
I mean, I could ask you a lot. I could ask you a lot. But, man, if anything as well, I just want to say thank you as well, man, for the support and the love that you shown.
I had to, man.
It means the world, and it's definitely it kind of, especially when we first met, it sort of made me question things about how do I process that emotion, and like sometimes I don't really like. I find it difficult, even funny enough, like just me being in myself to like express myself or to even you know what I mean, to even access, like there's certain people in my life who really can access all these different types of emotions, and I'm not one of those people. I'm like, might just like clam up or be awkward or when something serious, or really empathize with people. So it really, it kind of, it set this question off in my head, and it was a good question, you know, like it made me think about how I process things, and you know, so it's almost like it's a bit of a feedback loop, you know, because people might see me as someone who's got things figured out, or like maybe an element of wisdom, which I do, you know. I'm not saying, you know, I know I have a value. I'm not saying I don't.
Yeah,
most definitely, but I'm learning, you know what I mean. And it was definitely like it was very humbling as well to think that I could create something that could, you know, help someone millions of miles away from, you know, me and my life, you know, like, and you know, like someone who's I probably grown up quite differently, but there's still something there that's so strongly, you know what I mean, resonating. Yeah, it was special, man. So, yeah.
I appreciate that, and it was like, I think the greatest thing I did, you know, coming from the inner cities of America, the ghetto, and I wish more kids and adults would do it. We grow up in a place where it's tough, and you're programmed to be tough, and you're programmed to feel, and a lot of times the hood dehumanizes you, and it makes you not human no more, because a human feel, a human laugh, cry, get sad, all that stuff. But we was taught and educated that if you are human and you feel, and you have access to your emotions and you activate them, that you soft. And the greatest thing that I realized, that that's not true, that was a lie. And you know, me being in prison, I cried a lot. It opened up so many different departments within me, because I had access to my feelings, my emotions now, because they was cut off for so many years. I came alive. And that's the greatest thing that happened. And I wish more people would get that message that I be trying to tell them. It's cool to love, it's cool to feel, it's cool to hurt. We all gonna get hurt, but I think when you're able to get hurt and get back up and approach life with the same energy, the same laughter, the same love, the same respect, the same honor as you did before you got hurt, you're gonna win. You're gonna catch your shot. You're gonna catch your shot. But sometimes, as humans, when we get hurt, it sometimes become paralyzing, where we don't want to be humans no more and connect with the feelings we had before we got hurt. So I just be like, man, fuck it. Whatever happened, happened. I'm just gonna live this out. And I hope that before I expire, I did everything I wanted to do. And that's how I look at it, you know? Fuck it.
Yeah.
I mean, but I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, man.
I appreciate you so much. Always the love, man, always. And I'm telling, this is my prediction, y'all. I told him, I said, damn, man. You know, it took us all these years to get Lahai. I'm saying 2030, we're gonna get the next album, man. So right now, if you anywhere in America, please go to his tour. His tour is electrifying. I'm talking about, it's so much from the musicians playing, the different instruments, to the dancing, to the energy. I'm talking about this, he pours so much into this show right here. This satellite business is business. It's special. And satellites, you know, they're gonna take you somewhere else. You know, I look at the phone, I always call my phone a satellite. You know, people like, damn, I'd be like, I got my satellite on me, I can do anything, I got a satellite. Because with the satellite, you could go anywhere and you can get introduced to new places that you never been introduced to before. What Sampha do, with his show, he introduce you to different type of feelings, different type of movements you probably didn't know you had in your bodies, different type of energies from different type of sounds that you hear. Go. It's great, because I'm telling you right now, I don't know when you're gonna see him in America again. So you better take advantage of this right now, this tour. And to those around the world, if you see him pop up on that marquee at one of them places, performing art places, go. Don't miss the amphitheaters and all that. You better go and enjoy it, because since he's been back in America, coming back, I've seen him 3 times at a private event for a listening party. I seen him in Brooklyn Satellite Business, and I seen him here last night in Philadelphia, and he destroyed it. I'm advising you, go see Sampha, the great. I'm telling you, you don't want to miss this. He's the GOAT, if you ask me. I'm thankful to have you here. I'm thankful you're my favorite artist in the world. My favorite song in the world is Can't Get Close. If you haven't heard it, go listen to it. you know. But I appreciate you, brother.
Man, appreciate you, man.
And we out of here. Ah.